afternoon. This is your Pan-African show called Afreeqa with your host Gobezie. Today we have a rather exciting guest for you. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you, thank you.
If you could please tell us who you are. You could introduce yourself, basically.
So I go by Yared, but Yared Gobezie is my full name. I'm a skateboarder slash farmer. I was born in Washington, D.C., but I moved to Ethiopia in 2013, where I kind of started connecting with the skateboarding scene here and helped grow the skateboarding scene.
You're telling me that there was a skateboarding scene before you?
There was.
There was?
There was.
That's very interesting. So how did you get into skateboarding?
I started skateboarding there,
Okay.
but not as much as I did here.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just a way of expressing yourself. So,
Right.
you know, I picked that up. How some people use music, some people use art. I chose to use the skateboard. And
the other thing that I found out about you is that you chose to actually go to the university here in Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to know what made you decide to do that.
I always wanted to do something here in the future. So I didn't think it would be the best idea to study abroad and then come back here with different education, you know, use what education you have here and grow Ethiopia. That's what I was thinking as a kid.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what did you take? What did you graduate in?
Business management.
So now we're going to go straight into the skateboarding. And I would like to know, even though you did say there was a scene, a skateboarding scene in Addis, you came and it actually grew bigger, correct?
I mean, yes, I'm one of the inputs that helped grow it bigger. There was many inputs, and I don't think it would have grown to where it was without every single input, you know, every single person, every single youth, every single grown-up that helped us do it.
Why do you think skateboarding is important in Ethiopia?
I think any outlet for the youth is important, you know, whether it be basketball, football, arts, library, anything. It's just one of the many, you know?
Right.
And everyone is different, so I chose this.
Do you know why I'm asking that? I'm sorry to cut it. Because, I mean, now it's a completely different story. When you started, skateboarding was, I never saw it, just to be honest. So when you just told me that it was actually something that had begun before you came, it's quite interesting. So, especially knowing that you can't get the skateboards in Ethiopia, it's very hard to come by. With all of that added up, why skateboarding?
Let me just go back in time and tell you how it all became.
Thank you.
There were a group of kids in Sarbet.
Okay.
And a lot of people attest to, like, when they see the skateboard, they say, Sarbet, were you in Sarbet? Because that's where we used to skateboard at.
Okay.
And in the parking lot in Sarbet is where we used to skate. And there was one kid named Ebenezer. He's the first one to really, like, you know, not just get a skateboard and keep it at home and play by himself, but someone gave him a skateboard and he went to the, you know, where the locals are, where everyone else is, and shared with everyone, you know, and they learned together. So that was the little community of skateboarders that finally ended up becoming all of skateboarding in Ethiopia.
From skateboarding, you came into a bigger organization, right?
Yeah.
So you started Kushneta.
Yeah. Before that, we started an NGO. And we would never have been able to start Kushneta if the NGO didn't do what it did, you know?
So then let's back up.
Yeah.
Tell us about the NGO.
Yeah. So a lot of people may confuse it because they see two entities that represent skateboarding, and just, you know, Kushneta is the name we use as our business. But in the beginning, 2013, we collectively used to call ourselves Ethiopia Skate. We had a page online, on Instagram, on Facebook, and Twitter, I think, and just post our daily life skateboarding in Ethiopia, which was out of the world because everyone doesn't expect there to be skateboarding, you know? So that happened. Then we started raising money to, you know, build skate parks and import skateboards and give away to the youth for free. So if we never scaled the sport, you know, for free for the youth, it would never have gotten to the scale where we can have a skate company called Kushneta.
How did you come up with the name?
What do you get any idea from Kushneta? What comes to your mind when you hear Kushneta?
The little boys with the little Kushnetas.
Exactly. Okay, what? Like, so Kushneta means bearing, by definition.
Exactly, by definition.
Oh, and now it's like an Italian word, and the bearing used to very simply be put on a piece of wood, and, you know, people in past generations used to go downhill with it. you know, especially in Toto or Addis Ababa, places where there are just hills, they would make makeshift skateboards called kushineta and skate downhill. Even my grandparents tell me about this.
That's very cute. That's like the perfect name.
Thank you.
So when was it founded?
It was founded in 2019.
What's its focus and its mission?
Kushineta, which is, you know, we've always evolved and grown, but since the beginning, Kushineta Skateboard Manufacturing PLC. So we had the vision to manufacture boards locally because there aren't boards here, you know, increase access because there's no access to boards here, you know. So that's the main vision, was to have skateboarding items accessible to the youth and to anyone here in Ethiopia.
Made locally.
Made locally and also imported because, you know, it takes stages to make everything locally. So we're working towards that.
When did you start manufacturing skateboards?
That's how we started the company. When we started
manufacturing.
We started manufacturing. The first piece of machinery we made was the skateboard press.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
So we made the machine itself because the machine itself isn't available here.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You got to do it from scratch, or
I
else
know,
it doesn't
right?
happen, you know?
Because otherwise you're going to have to import all those machines.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're just a bunch of young skaters that have to figure it out, you know?
So you figured out the machine and you made the machine.
Yeah.
So starting from the machine, where did you go after the machine?
So we made one skateboard press, which was very simple, but it still made skateboards. So we were using that to experiment with the first skateboards made in Ethiopia. And then as time goes on, we built a second press that was much better in quality, much more stable. And then the next step was we started recycling broken skateboards, because when a skateboard breaks, we decided we have to do something with it, you know? So we turned it into like jewelry and incense holders and a bunch of different items, just experimental. And then we moved to clothing. So we're doing clothing now too.
I would like you to actually break it down and explain, when you said skateboard press, I would like to know what part of the skateboard you actually begin with, and kind of give us like a nice explanation of how you get to do these. So this is one of yours.
Yes, it is. Kushineta skateboard. A lot of people don't know, but there's like 3 or 4 different parts to a skateboard. There's the deck, or the wooden part. Then there's the metal part that holds the wheels. It's called the trucks. There's the skate wheel itself, and then there's the bearing. These are the main parts. So 4 parts that are all interchangeable. But we started manufacturing the deck itself, the wooden part. So to give it the shape it has and the strength it has, you need to press multiple pieces of wood together, 7 pieces of wood together, like a sandwich.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Very, very thin pieces of wood, and then shape it. So the press does that.
The press is what actually shapes it into that.
Exactly. Okay. So we make a mold, and then we make a frame for the press, and put the mold in between, and literally use a lot of pressure, a hydraulic press, to press it like a sandwich, but you know, with glue and. Okay. And then there's a sanding process and a varnish process and a curing process.
How long would it take you to actually just do that part?
Make one skateboard? 3-4 days. But we can make multiple at a time, so we can make a few.
So after you make that, you go into all the other little parts.
Yes.
Now, do you actually have those locally, all the other parts, or there are certain parts that you have to have imported?
Yes. All of these have to be imported so far. I mean, one day we're going to manufacture every single part, but step by step.
Right now you're doing at least the board.
Exactly. That's what breaks. That's what is what you need to change more often. So.
Excellent. You said you had partners that actually jointly started this NGO.
Yes, yes.
Right?
This
the skate company.
Yeah.
The NGO is the skate company, or they're 2 different entities?
They're 2 different entities.
Oh, okay.
The NGO was running since 2013 and still runs, but it does non-profit things. So what it does is it makes skate parks, it makes and then it facilitates the importation of skateboards and skate shoes for skaters that can't afford it. You understand? So us, on the other hand, are for someone that says, hey, I want to buy a skateboard, I want to join the community, or I want to, you know, support with buying your merchandise and apparel. You know, there's a company for that, and we started the first skateboard company, just like Nike SB, Vans, a lot of companies that we wear, we don't know, they're skate companies.
Who are the people that you opened the
My
company?
fellow founders are Yabkal Abraham is one of them, Hinokit Barak, and Ruel Fisaha is my third partner. So it's four of us. We're a collective of young skaters, you know, putting our skills together to do it.
Okay. So now let's go into the parks.
Into the parks, yeah, sure.
Yes, the skate parks, because I think I witnessed one of them, the one that was at the youth center.
Yep, in Bisrata Gabriel.
Bisrata Gabriel,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And how did you decide to actually have a skate park? And when you actually decided, how easy or how hard was it to actually find a space, for starters, the youth center, to actually build? And how did you build it?
So it all started with the idea. You know, we were skating in Sarbet in a public space, which, you know, you face a lot of problems. You face a lot of, like, you know, there's cars, there's people playing soccer, there's a lot of things going on where you can't skate in peace, you know? So we decided we need a place for the skaters in Addis Ababa. So we just literally went around to every kabale and everybody that we know and started asking, is there any land that we can work together with to build the first skate park in Ethiopia? And luckily, Bisrata Gabriel, that youth center said yes. It wasn't easy, it wasn't too difficult, but, you know, it all worked out at the end of the day. So once we knew we had the land, we started fundraising online. So I think it cost us about $35,000 or something, and that's how much we got exactly, and put it right to work. As soon as $35,000 was filled, we started, you know, excavating and doing things. Luckily, there was an NGO, another NGO that decided to help us. They sent volunteers, like 50 volunteers, free of charge to build the skate park.
Brilliant. So those obviously had knowledge of how to build.
Yes, skate park. Any architect can't do it, or any contractor can't do it.
That's what I want to ask.
Yeah, any engineer can't do it, because it takes a lot of, like, you know, knowledge, expertise in the field.
So you built your first skate park in Bisrata Gabriel.
Oh.
Success.
Thank you.
You know, I've
It
been
was.
there, loved it. It was just really nice.
Yes.
But after that, because I know, especially when it's in the Kabale, you have time limits. You have, you know, because it's not always open.
Yeah, there's many limits.
Yeah. So how were you able to overcome those limits? And what did you end up doing because it was so hard?
We just work with the rules and the regulations, but still express our side. And if anything seems unfair, we just talk to them straight up and say, hey, we need to change this. You know, everything, it goes pretty smoothly. There's always hiccups, and it goes smooth. Oh.
Okay, awesome. So then you went into your second skate park.
Yes.
Now tell us where that is and how you were able to build that one.
So this time we decided to go out of Addis Ababa, so we went to Awasa, which there was already a big skate community there. The roads were already smooth, a lot of skaters rode skateboards in the town, so we decided that would be a good place to make the second skate park. And we made an even bigger skate park. We didn't need so much volunteers. You know, we used our own people that learned from last experience. Maybe 5 volunteers came instead of 50 this time. Okay. And yeah, we did it. We built the second skate park, Awasa Skate Park. Okay,
and then you came back to Addis.
Yep.
And then you built a third one.
Yes, Kazanchi Skate Park.
Which is where?
It's by Setu Chaddababai.
Okay.
So, Hyacinth Meadows.
It's a smaller one?
It's a smaller one, yeah.
Okay.
But it's nice for young kids or young, you know, anyone under the age of 15, 16 would love it.
Brilliant. I have a very successful story right there. But the Magananya one is the store.
Yes. There's the shop with the underground.
So now let's get into that one.
Yeah.
When did you open the shop? The same time you opened the business?
No. We opened the business in 2019, and then 2020 we continued working from home. 2021 we got closer to the idea, and in 2022 is when we built the skate shop. So exactly a year ago.
In your shop, outside of skateboards, you've decided to go into apparel wear, also streetwear, and skateboarding wear.
Yeah.
Now, when you decided to go into the apparel side, what made you decide that you needed to go into the apparel?
Most skate companies use the apparel side as their branding, their merchandising, their marketing. You know, someone that doesn't skate might love the idea of it and want to just support by getting apparel. But secondly, we skaters always like we have a style and a swag of our own, and a lot of people notice that. So why not turn it into a company and have our own apparel representing us?
That's a brilliant idea.
We also make leather bags, so we've moved into leather works, and yeah, besides the t-shirts, the pants, and the hats.
So
hoodies.
You have a designer, or do you all collectively come up with ideas?
We do both. We sometimes outsource with different designers and work with them. Other times we bring all of our ideas together because we all have ideas, you know. Yeah.
I know, because sometimes you always wonder when you see some people on a skateboard and you're like, why are they on that skateboard with those clothes on? You know, so it's good to actually also educate people of what kind of streetwear or what kind of clothing they need to wear. It's also safety, I'm assuming. Safety in a sense where you won't wear long pants that go, you know, that get caught up, or a long dress or a long skirt.
More than that is comfort.
Exactly.
Yeah. We focus on comfort more than anything. A lot of clothing people don't focus on comfort. They focus on fashion and design and maybe being focused when you always want to be comfortable in your clothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is Kushineta's focus and goal?
Our focus and goal is to continue growing the skateboarding scene, you know. We're just one actor. So there's actually other companies also doing streetwear. Hopefully, we like to think after we did it good. Streetwear, and the other companies doing skateboarding, other companies doing stuff that we've done before. And also, you know, we're growing the whole scene together.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, at the end of the day, we want to grow that scene together.
Absolutely. Now, we go to Lamchaka. So, how did you come up with Lamchaka? Why Lamchaka?
From a child, I've always had interest in agriculture, interest in nature, you know, just interest in organic things. So to have the opportunity to start an agri-business in Ethiopia was a big, big positive. I took the opportunity to start Lamchaka.
What is Lamchaka?
Lamchaka is a company focused on reducing food waste by turning it into compost and then, you know, amended soil and just anything good for the garden, organic. So we're making organic soil amendments and organic fertilizers in the future.
What is the mission behind Lamchaka?
The mission is to clean up our cities, you know, to reduce what goes into the landfills. Our first item is food waste, but hopefully in the future we can help, you know, reduce plastic waste and reduce metal waste and just a bunch of different waste and turn Addis Ababa into a much cleaner place. But not just diverting where it goes, but, you know, recycling them, upcycling them. So that's what we're doing with food, with like a lot of the wasted food that goes into the landfills.
Right.
We're trying to divert that and take it to our farms and turn it into different products that help farmers.
How do you find your clients?
We're blessed. Right now we're just working so hard that we're not even really trying so hard to find clients. You know, we're focusing on production, staff, strategies, and at the end of it, of course, you have to find clients. Again, so far, so good. Customers are coming to us and asking us about our products just because of social media promotion and word of mouth. You know, one customer tells another customer, and slow.
But where do you find your organic waste?
Organic waste?
The waste that you're turning into compost. You have to either from, I know there's 3 of you. It could be from the 3 households.
One option.
But if you're really, like, if you're selling these fertilizers, that means you need to make a substantial amount to be able to actually provide your clients. You can't tell your clients, sorry, we're out of fertilizers.
Totally.
Right? So you need, like, every day you need company, a hotel, somebody has to provide you. Because I know you're not going house to house yet.
Not yet, no.
Exactly.
Yeah. So right now what we're doing is we're trying to focus on the one place with the most waste, you know, the most food waste. Luckily, hotels right now have a lot of food waste, and they don't know what to do with it. So when we give them a cleaner option, saying, hey, you know, we'll collect and we'll dispose of it, you know, for pretty much right now we're doing it equal. So we cover cost, our cost, they cover their cost, and, you know, we have an agreement saying that's it. So we work with Hyatt Regency and Hilton so far. Okay. And just 2 hotels have enough waste.
I know, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough for a minute.
Yeah. But our plan is to scale up and continue collecting from other big hotels and
Absolutely.
you know, take it to even bigger processing facility and make even larger amounts of compost.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that, and since our country does not have a habit of separating our trash, that in itself is a big job.
Big time.
So if you could educate everybody, I mean, it starts from, you know, from your house. If you have 2 waste baskets, one for recycle and one for trash.
Yeah.
That way it would also be easier for you if you go from home to home. We already have one trash that is just what you can use for compost, and you just take that and call it a day, as opposed to separating the two. Because I'm thinking that's what you're doing right now.
No,
or no, they have them separated.
They separate them, but luckily in hotels it's easier because they have a system. When it comes to households and stuff, if there's no system to collect plastic here, food waste here, and everything else there, they're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So awareness is one thing, but making the systems to collect them and take them to different facilities to then reprocess them. But they're coming, I believe. You know, we're growing towards that. It's the only way to be cleaner.
Yeah, because I think you also need the government's help.
Definitely. Oh yeah. I mean, we're starting by ourselves right now because you have to show a small example. Good. Of course, without the government's help, especially on land, you know, because at the end of the day, we're doing Ethiopia a favor and we're working together with municipalities to clean up the city, you know. But we're doing it from one pickup truck so far, you know.
Wow.
Try to take a whole city's waste with one pickup truck.
That's a lot.
Yeah, then we're getting there.
So how do you transform food waste into organic fertilizers?
Especially into compost.
Yeah.
And then from compost, then you can, so like food waste, there's every different type of food waste you can imagine, right? There's bones, there's meat, there's vegetables and fruit waste. Most of it just decomposes, you know, mixed properly with the right ingredients, it would decompose in 3 to 6 months. Especially when we do like improved techniques on it, we reduce that time a little bit. But it's literally decomposition is what's happening at our farm, you know, but in a very smart way where we know exactly the portions of food waste to dry material. We know how much times to mix it, when to add water, you know, when to aerate it, when to cure it. That's the technologies we use. It's more of the knowledge of how to compost on a better scale to make better compost.
How long does it take for that?
For us, it takes 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months of, you know, if water and sun is on point, then we're good. It's a very simple and natural method, but we're just improving it.
What are your policies that benefit the environment?
Just increasing awareness and telling people how to compost, you know, in their backyards. If they figure out, hey, I do have a lot of food waste and I do have space to compost, teaching them how to compost is one way we help benefit the, you know, environment. And that's one of our policies. Like, we're trying to educate just as much as we sell products, you know what I'm saying? It's not just a money-oriented business, it's a...
The education is
education is right there, but yeah. But besides that, we have so many, yeah.
That was my next question. What is your plan in educating the public on sustainability?
It's amazing. We're loving it. I'm loving it now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because you go to different offices or different...
Yeah, I mean, especially organizations that want their staff to know about waste management, how to prolong vegetable life and know what's good and what's not, and just like the basics of food management, we teach that to some organizations. So we give consultancies pretty much, and then we give trainings in organic agricultural methods. So like there's a compound that has trees and plants and everything, and they want to fertilize all of that in an organic way. You know, we can sell them compost, but we can also teach their staff how to make compost and how to use it and how to, you know, organic methods of fertilizing.
From what they have.
Yeah, from what they have, exactly.
How does one educate the public in being socially conscious?
I guess you have to do it and let people see. There's no other way. You can't just talk. You have to do, you know. So we made a permaculture farm to show what organic farming looks like, you know. So we had so many different crops so far. We had corn, we had beans, we have like, so we plant those plants amongst the other plants. So like we have fruit trees, we have herbs growing, flowers and everything growing in one place, which a lot of people in Ethiopia don't do. It's farming. It's monocrops. It's one crop for the whole land. You know, so there's many other methods that we're trying to prove and show to farmers that work. Like no-till method, if anyone knows. Like farmers think they have to continually farm every year, like continually dig up the soil every year, which has its own problems sometimes, you know. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So knowing those little things and knowing when you don't have to, you could just plant into that soil and continue growing.
You're saying they shouldn't till it every year, or?
I'm saying, like, as people get more knowledge, they know which ways to benefit their land. I'm not saying every land should be tilled or not tilled. I'm saying there needs to be more awareness of organic farming methods. So we're using that. We're experimenting so we can show people, look, on this type of land, we didn't even have to till for 5 years, and look, we're still getting produce coming out of it every year, especially more and more. You know, so we need more research done in those fields, and we're trying to do it on small scales in Omanish.
Okay, okay. So you have a farm?
We have a small farm now.
And
we don't own it, though. That's the hard issue. We're like renting a farm.
How do you support the local community?
Luckily, we have a farm inside of a residential neighborhood.
Okay.
So every time they pass by the farm, when I'm there, they always ask me, "They're not dumb things." And like, of course, we say yes. Basic stuff like when we have extra tomatoes, we give it to the shop to sell right down the street. So not just that, like we always teach whoever's around us, like, this is what we're doing, and we're growing organic plants. We can give you some seedlings so you can grow them in your own compound and stuff. So in little ways we help, but as we grow, we want to continue helping, especially in like educating.
Exactly.
That's the main way we want to help in the future.
If you'd open your doors and you had, like, you know, a farmer's market from whatever it is that you are growing. And then people could see the farm and be like, what? And since you said it's a smaller scale, a lot of people have quite a big piece of land. So everybody could actually start doing it in their own compound.
So people have to see it to do it, pretty much. They want to see the example working to be able to do it. So in one way, that's like the easiest way we can do. That is step one. But step two would be to continue teaching on a bigger scale. Like, say it's very simple radio programs that teach people about organic farming and the benefits to their health, to the environment, to the soil. You know, there's so many things that we don't know about it that people, if they're told, they would start thinking that way, you know?
When you say organic farming in Africa, it's especially in a country like ours, I would think a lot of our farmers are actually organic farmers. So can you tell me the difference between the other farmers and organic farming?
It's not that simple. In Ethiopia, especially where there's a lot of, like, we're prone to a lot of drought and a lot of climate effects that will affect the farmers, fertilizer is sometimes like pushed on to farmers, you know. It's a good thing at the end of the day, that's what people think. So even right now, there's a lot of fertilizer being given to a lot of farmers in the north and like places that are damaged.
Yeah.
What's not happening is, like, people don't understand that there's different types of fertilizers, you know. A lot of the fertilizer we get is that coming from Ukraine and stuff, you know, which is literally chemical fertilizers. But farmers don't know details so much, and they'll use it. It will give them better crops for a few years, which, you know, they would want to use it more and more. But at some point, it deteriorates land, you know. After 10 or 20 years, like we're seeing in America, or other countries that have been using it for so long, the land is not usable anymore.
Because of the fertilizers?
Because of fertilizers, because of abuse of fertilizers, using too much. If you had to use 7 kuntal, you're going to have to use 10 next year, or 13 the year after, 15 the year after. So that's causing the farmers to spend more money, the produce goes up, and secondly, a lot of things that people don't know is what goes into the plant, you consume. So if you put in urea, DAP, and other chemicals into the plant, literally you're going to consume it when you eat the food. So, you know, America has seen a lot of health issues because of these problems, and now they're shifting towards organic. You know, before we get there, we should know the problems, not let that happen to us in Omelo. So, you know, organic just means farmers can make their own compost at the farm. So if we can teach farmers how to be self-sufficient, I think the future is bright for the farmers here.
Absolutely. Can you tell us some of the projects you've done? I think you kind of mentioned that you do training and stuff like that, but certain things that you've actually gone and educated and seen the fruit of that.
I know. I think this is the first thing we did. It was so amazing. We got contacted by Rotaract to help Riverside cleanup, Little Akaki Riverside cleanup, okay? So me and a few people from our team go as volunteers. Volunteers in the Riverside, like there's a community. So basically they were relocated there, okay? And where they live is right next to a river, which since there's no real waste management in their neighborhood, they throw everything into the river, okay? Everything. So we started going to just clean up the river. So the first day we went there, we went every week. The first time, it was so dirty. We clean it, the next week it's dirty again. So we're like, this is not gonna work. You know, we're just wasting our energy. Let's teach them something about waste management. So we taught them, like, you can make compost. That's the thing we did on the second week. We brought them together and we taught them how to make compost. The third week, we came with like 25 buckets and shovels and everything, and basically made compost with them from their own waste. So we gave each household a bucket and said, bring your food waste here, mix it, and do this. We come back a few weeks later, they have piles, like each household has its own pile of compost. They have plants planted, and just that has helped them like care for their neighborhood. So now like they're forcing the waste management people to come every few days to take the trash. They're not throwing it in the thing anymore. And they're just like, you know, I've seen a change. Now there's avocado and mango trees right next to the compost, and that's actually blocking the river. So they don't go past there to throw it anymore. Yeah. So that's one little thing we helped to do.
And change that area.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I was actually happy when the Riverside project started, because where my mom's house is, behind them is a river.
I know.
And across the street is a gas station. And right by the river, there are like offices. Each time you go to see the river, they literally throw it
right out
behind them. This is the other thing. If we don't see the trash that we throw, we think we're okay.
I know.
So they just throw it behind them, and they don't know what it's causing.
Exactly, exactly.
And a lot of it is paper. That's the other thing that confuses me, is why do we throw paper? What can we do with paper? Some of them could be very important. I mean, of course, burning is a very good idea. Shredding is also another good idea. But when people don't have all these means, what do they do with paper?
Exactly. Throw it away. If you have no means of disposing it properly, you're just going to throw it.
Yeah.
So we have to, you know, just step back a few steps and try to fix the main cause. Because plastic is worth so much in other countries. They're buying it, buying it. Glass is worth so much. But people here just like throw a lot of stuff. So awareness, and then the systems put in place to change these things. And, you know, these are exportable items. Okay? Literally, plastic could be shredded and exported. Metal waste can be, you know, collected, sorted, and exported for money, for dollars, if we need to. You know, so the systems in place will bring us more income as a country, finally. This is your Pan-African show called Afreeqa with your host Qatsalawar Seifu. We have exciting guests for you. Thank you.